Mariposa?
Which ward are we in?
Mariposa. We went to Bengetti's place.
Mariposa.
Oh,
yes.
No, we're in a mall.
Amal, sorry.
Mariposa.
Mariposa. What the fuck am I talking about?
Somehow I always think that Bengetti's is in Mariposa for some reason. I don't know why.
Do I not have a splash for Amal ward? Wow.
Probably not. I just
Yes.
in Central Park.
I wonder if I even have an image for it. I thought I did. Voyager, Turing, Seaton, Merrique, Mariposa Foundation. Damn. Oh well. Then I need to go to documents. I need to get a copy of this PDF up.
I turn this off so it doesn't ring in the middle.
Where is it? There we go.
I just got a sudden headache.
Oh no.
Okay, gotta open up Let Me On. So you're streaming already, Z?
Well, it sounded like we were started, and then Joe got distracted, so...
Ah, fuck. Listen.
You give no warning when you start the stream.
It's a secret. Yeah, we can start if y'all are ready to go. It's just a matter of who wants to do a quick recap right up until the point where we retcon.
So where exactly are we doing the retcon? Where did we settle on? Because it sounded like there was different discussions. Bye, Cody.
Have a good session, y'all. Bye.
Bye. So I will say I have no strong preference, but I think if it is at all easier on everybody's like suspension of disbelief to have it be like not, or have media not be introduced yet, then we can do that.
I mean, if you have a solid idea of how to introduce her in a different way, I suppose. But if you're going to be,
I'm right behind you.
If you are introducing her in a similar way to the way you did before, her getting into the house is already the best possible way that it could have panned out.
Yeah.
So, like, that was already, like, Legacy and Lockhart being really nice, and then Kaya being the savior in the situation. So, like, if you don't have any other way that would be different than that introduction, then I'd say we just nix the very last, like, minute or two.
Operation Bendetti.
Yeah. If you have a solid idea of how to introduce her in a different way, then we can just nix her introduction altogether and redo it.
I do have an idea. It would not likely happen this session, but I do have an idea.
I think that's kind of up to Piper then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, do you want to kick the can down the road? Because that's the other thing, is like, I'd rather introduce you in a rocky way so that you can at least have time to get, I don't know, like, get into character a little bit, if that makes sense. I have no idea.
Whatever you think would be best.
This is your opinion we're asking for.
Because I think as a consensus, we want to have a very easy way of getting you into the group that's not everyone or most of the party sus off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that means you won't. If it means you won't be playing today, like that's literally your choice, Piper.
I don't know.
So
Indecision.
What a mall looks like.
Okay. Piper, what do you want to do? What do you want to do more? Play media or have smooth slide into group? What do you desire more?
I mean, I'd obviously like to play, but I don't want to do conflict stuff. So
I mean, I think if we just cut it off before the Bengetti moment, I think that's a pretty okay transition, considering how paranoid Legacy and Lockhart both are.
You got into the house. It's a fucking miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, that works.
okay, then you're in the house, and everyone is now like recuperating after the weirdness the intensity of the day having finally worn down a little bit.
It's Hotel Hell all over again.
Not anymore. It's hotel over. Hotel, everyone can have a drink of water and take a nap. But you've visited Maxine, cleaned up a little bit of her blood. I didn't intend for you to do that right away, but that knocks it off the list.
Just freaking the fuck out, Joe.
Yeah, we
Yeah, but
visited
it's-
her and also like got her more involved and recruited a little bit more.
True. So that's good. You've also convinced her that she should get over her fear of blood and stuff so that you can have her help more, because she would be interested in some of these things. So 2 birds, 1 stone. You also went to visit the... What is it? Oh my god. Dark... I can't even remember the name of the shop. Bitterdark. Went to Bitterdark
Bitterdark.
and met up with JJ, who has not seen Kaneko, but he is not worried about her. She's just probably having a really hard time dealing with some of the residual trauma, grief, suddenness of everything.
She's
Um,
to grieve.
Yeah, and JJ has unambiguously said, like, she just needs time. I'll let you know when I see her again. She's probably fine. But thank you for giving me the straight news, because that's what I assumed, and now I don't have to guess. So
And some good news. She got the bastard.
there's
Mhm.
also that, and also got him.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
after that,
Veloska and Marcus were both filled in
Mm-hmm.
much more completely and everything.
yes, also that, you found out Marcus was going to get an arm upgrade so that he could get into some trouble with y'all. There's a whole mess of stuff going on with that between you two, but that is going to be resolved at a later point. Currently, everyone is at the Bengetti house, and I say everyone. Marcus, all of you 4. Cosmic is there. Obviously, Bengetti is there. And I think that is everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, Marcus
Marcus, Cosmic, and
and Bengetti.
I believe that's all the NPCs who are there.
Yes.
And I guess like the easy way to like retcon the last little bit would just be to say that media just said what the machine was doing rather than asking Bengetti if he was about to talk, because that's just like we can retcon everything except for like a sentence and then the fallout with Bengetti,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it would still showcase her power
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in a way that we understand and we're not gonna have to question much more.
So
Media's about to ask the question. Something deep in her cut tells her not to.
I'll bring it
Uh,
up with you guys separately.
It's like, start to ask the question, look around, paranoid people. Let's probably not talk about this right now.
So,
I saw the
what
future.
was the question again? You were asking it to
question?
Bengetti, or you were asking the machine?
What question? I don't remember.
The question that we're retconning is like Bingetti, are you trying to use this to like talk to the observer or whatever?
We're not
Okay, I thought you were retconning that instead a different question was asked.
No. It's just instead she says exactly what that machine does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, exactly what the hacking machine does.
Yeah, and that machine is it. As far as you can tell, I don't know if I answered that question already. Did I?
You did, but I wouldn't mind a refresher.
Okay.
I don't think I wrote it down.
Okay, so the full dive machine takes your consciousness out, like your current, like sensory input, your full consciousness, human brain essence, quote unquote, and injects it into the open network, which is currently that the machine is not hooked up to an open network; it is closed off, so it does not have like internet access in any way. But it literally creates you digitally, but it does not copy you. As far as you're aware, it just takes what is already you and puts it into a machine, which is has some very strange implications as to what your body is and where it is, but effectively making you like comatose or unresponsive in the real world.
It's cyber astral projection.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I forget, did we already quiz you on like what has happened to you over the past couple of days? I feel like we did.
I think it's the first thing you asked.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of amnesiac-like responses. Like a mix of, I don't remember this, but I do have this sort of feeling. I remember parts of my history, but I do not remember X, Y, and Z from like this morning or something, because it just there's like a not conflicting, but
confusion.
Yeah, it's confusion. I hesitate to say overwriting or overlapping information so much as it's just like a disorganized kind of like mess, because there's not really a way to parse the difference between what is originally one of your own memories and what is originally from like the observer part of your brain.
Yeah.
And all the signals Legacy got was just confusion observer bullshit.
Basically. And Bingetti has, like, looking up and down at media, is more intrigued than anything else, and has, like, the scientific fascination light blinking on his face. The twinkle of curiosity in his eye, given that he watched her do some very interesting, what otherwise would be seen as magical type of things. And Lockhart, I believe, you at one point used threat assessment to gauge whether or not there was any sort of danger imposed by this person. And as far as you can tell with your expert opinion, there's no weapons, there's no intent of malice, there's no just outward like preparedness or defensiveness as if they're coiling up to act suddenly whenever the opportunity presents itself. This person is just here, very much sitting here and relaxing with the rest of you.
I ordered food too.
Yes, and Cosmic gave you some of his slushy.
And Kaya gave her granola bar and water.
Yeah. Feed the friend.
Feed the good beans are doing work here.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my
So Legacy is gonna fucking 180 us because she doesn't know how to deal with that bullshit. But she does have a nice pretty package.
Mm-hmm.
They went through a lot to deal with. So she just like blindly like leans, because she was under a table if I remember correctly. Leans forward, puts like the little thing that she got from Maxine on top of the table, takes the package from Marcus, who is beside her.
You'd like slip it out from underneath his arm. He was holding it kind of like a football tucked in his arm, and then he's not gripping it really tightly, so just whoop, and he just goes oh, and sees it disappear below the table.
And because she already checked it out over before she left it at Marcus's place to make sure that there wasn't any like signals or anything going to or from this thing. So she's just gonna fucking open it.
Can we warn anyone? You're just gonna
Nope.
take it under the table and open it.
Yep.
Fucking
It's-
gremlin.
I would say anyone who's like paying any reasonable amount of attention to, like, the room is relatively quiet, so everyone would hear Marcus like and then turn around and like look, and then he would just dismiss and be like uh-oh. So he has emoted in some way, but you take the you're opening the container that you got from the car, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the
So
other
you-
container just has the brain juices and
Like-
piece in.
Yeah, the tiny sliver of actual people brain. So you twist the container lid, and you hear the like satisfying as it's the seal is broken, and it is this like rush of cold air, just bitingly cold air. The handle twists like it's like a horizontal handle where you twist it one way and then you hear the chunk, and then you slide it up and out. And as you slide it up and out, it is a like not glass. There is glass. Like you can tell that this is a glass jar of something, but it is covered in like a thin layer of some type of monitoring tech of some kind. Almost like it, like when you plug it into the sealed container. Actually, roll me a clever check. Just a straight clever check.
Clever. I'ma boost this because I have prep. Why not?
Fair enough. Okay, you're looking at this. It is a very weird contraption. You can guess that just by looking at it, there's probably something. It's probably something to do with how it contacts the inside of that sealing tube that you take, like you pulled it out of. You could probably get Kaya to help you assess it more accurately. If you wanted to know the actual like exact function of it. But just by looking at it, you're like, okay, this is some glass container, and these are this outside layer is on the outside of the glass so that it can make contact with something and maybe monitor systems or keep the container at some moderate temperature or pressure or something. But just by spinning it around, you don't see a way to remove the outside or like the out layer of tech that would cover the glass.
Thus, I cannot see inside.
Correct.
Just grumbling noises and slowly emerging from under table, looking at Media, finding the furthest table from Media, and sitting down, and looking back over her shoulder until she spots Kaya and just points and then motions for her to come over.
Kai just like looks over, is like, what the fuck? What's fucking grumbling about?
Come here.
Alright. I'll just fucking stand up and walk over.
You get about 2 steps over, and then Cosmic like pokes you in the shin, like the back of your calf, and just goes, "Can I have a granola bar?"
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
So, hands him 2.
He takes both of them, and then like looks at one, looks at the other, and then like looks at you, just like, "You sure?" That's double.
Hands him 2, pat on head, walks over to whatever the fuck
Oh.
Legacy wants.
And you see the open container sitting on the table in front of her.
You just fucking opened it without telling anyone?
Well, we were just fucking distracted, and we need to figure out what this is sooner rather than later, since the bullshit that we just went through.
Okay.
Yeah, alright. What do you got?
Machine. She just like gestures at it, like, you're the engineer.
Okay.
Go ahead and make an engineering roll if you want to just straight up try to look at it, unless you want to try and invent at it.
No, I'll do engineering.
I don't know if there was some secret piece of technology you might be aware of, but yeah, just roll an engineering clever check.
I'd like to boost this.
Yes. Permission granted.
Goddamn.
Cool.
Okay, so you like Legacy hands it to you, and you are holding this, looking at it. This you've seen something like this in a way. So there are heavy machinery, like basically fine cut, precision tooled, like drill bits and machine heads and your cutting devices.
Like a CNC?
Basically like a CNC, and the bits that they use on some of them are transported in very tiny versions of these. The purpose being it is suspended in this inert, like thick substance to keep it from rattling or being damaged or impacted by like air friction in any way. It's almost like a temperature controlled hypodermic needle. And they use that for extremely volatile substances to like either split or harvest or shape whatever they need to do. You've never used one personally, but you have seen them. They are they're not uncommon necessarily. Well, they would be kind of uncommon on a general level for construction work. But because you were working on the station and part of the infrastructure to the interior of the station, there's lots of points where like certain power, like station power segments needed to have very, very precise work done on a microscopic level. And they would bring something in one of those very small containers. And when I say small, I mean like fit in the palm of your hand. So this thing is much larger. But you do know that you can twist the top seal and open it again, and it will pull out what is likely the glass vial with just a like mechanical seal on top of it. And if you were to twist and open a third time, you could get at the actual thing inside and whatever it was presumably mounted on. It's like 3 layers of protection.
Okay. Caterpillar would just like pick up the thing. Like, how big? It's like football size, right?
Yeah, it's slightly bigger than a football.
Okay. So like, looks at it. It's like, all Alright. He's fucking huge, honestly. Never seen one for something this size. What the fuck is in here? Oh, we can open it again. It's like one of those fucking Russian dolls things, toys. You know, there's a little more layer before you get to the actual thing. So if I can just twist here, I can open it.
You have now gotten the attention of both Ben Getty and Marcus, who just kind of float over towards you. And
Like-
Ben Getty is just silently watching.
Legacy just like motions for you to continue. You are now holding it, unless you want her to take it and open it.
She'll open it. Like,
Yeah. So you twist the seal, and you feel the secondary, thinner layer of machinery give way, and it slides out. It is a perfect seal, like it. Whenever you have the perfectly cut piece slide out from another perfectly cut, or like slide into place, and it's just got enough for friction and resistance that it barely fits, but it fits just right. You are sliding that thin metal casing off, and as you do, you get about halfway open of the lid, and you can see that there is a slight tinged green-red glow, but it is not like a green-red, like perfectly, what's the word? Homogeneous color, right? It looks like somebody would have taken a green, like a very dull green fluid, and dropped bits of reddish orange food coloring in it, and it has that sort of spider webby texture, or not texture, but like that, the visual appearance of like a smoky spider webby fluid inside of another fluid. And you see what looks like a jumbled bunch of like tech pieces in weird shapes and dog food, and after you get about like almost all the way out, you get about to the last 10%, you see what it is just 100% recognizably the right hemisphere of a brain.
Kaya is going to just freeze and then just slowly put it back in the container.
And
You start
Legacy,
to put it back, and immediately Ben Getty just is like, no, like, wait, keep going.
Legacy just sighed. Great, another fucking brain. Oh
What
boy.
is it, what hemisphere?
The right hemisphere of a brain. And with what you saw in the pieces of tech and what looked like mush, that was presumably the remains of the left hemisphere of a brain.
Like the green and red mush?
The green and red discoloration in the liquid, that is just the color of the thing it's suspended in.
Yeah, the stabilizer thingy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Ben Getty's like, wait, just, let me see it. I want to just like look. I haven't seen one of these things in like real life. And then
Hold on.
What
hold
is
the
it?
fuck up.
Marcus leans forward towards Legacy and just goes, second brain?
Second brain. Second brain. What?
Why do you guys have a brain?
Good fucking question. I don't fucking know. Alright, hold on. We've got a brain right here. Half of it in mush, the other half, suspended in the fluid.
Dear Marcus, explain. Like, continue with that thought.
What? Wait. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? What thought?
Second brain?
You said that. Is this? You said another brain.
Well, that thing, and she like just points towards the little container, is part of a brain.
Well, yeah, that's two. Is that part of this one?
Well, I don't know.
Puts his hands on his head and is just like, oh, okay. Okay, is it like a real brain?
Look
Ben
fucking
Getty.
real to me.
What is this? You said you've not seen one of these before.
Oh
means
yeah,
you
no,
know what
I've
it
not
is.
seen like a brain. Like I've seen one of these before, and he just waves vaguely at the sealant container, and he just goes, "Yeah, but I haven't seen like one of those," and he points at the thing to imply he has not seen a literal brain in person before.
Yeah, most people haven't.
Well, yeah,
You're not
but now I
supposed
can.
to.
Well, there's a lot of things you're not supposed to do, but like I want to look at a brain. Can I see it? And he like does grabby hands. I'm not going to take it out.
Maxine is gonna kill us.
Who's Maxine?
Another
Marcus just puts a hand
scientist
out.
friend.
He just puts a hand out towards Bengeti and just goes, later.
Yeah, speaking of, gotta start cooking for her. Alright, look. So we've got a brain, another one. At least this time we know it's a fucking brain. I don't know if it makes it any fucking better, but we know what it is at least.
Marcus, like, just stares in disbelief, and you hear Cosmic in the background hearing all of this and just goes, where did you find a brain?
Oh boy.
On the road.
On the road?
Huh?
Here is your last opportunity to get out before things get really illegal really fast. And she just like,
Marcus.
looks towards Cosmic and Media.
Cosmic is just blinking, just like, and he starts reaching for something on his belt. And Lockhart, you clock this instantly. He has, you can tell the make, model, and number of bullets in it. He has a handgun on his backside, like left side waist, and he unclips it. You can see that it is not loaded, and he just holds it like flat on his palm, not finger nowhere near the trigger, and he just goes, "I'm kind of committed.
Where the fuck she get a gun?
I bought it."
You just fucking bought a gun?
He's
Yeah.
been
Shoot one.
practicing.
Why does he have a gun?
He's been
you-
practicing.
Why the fuck does he have a gun?
There are weapons.
Is it
stores
loaded?
everywhere.
Oh, it's not loaded. I have good trigger safety.
There are weapon stores literally everywhere on Grand Cross. That isn't abnormal.
Oh yeah, fair point.
Like-
but
It's abnormal for someone who is kind of, I mean, no offense, like you. No, you're right.
it's not the kind of thing like Cosmic does.
He just shrugs.
Like, are you alright? Is this like, do you need to talk or
Mhm.
something?
He just blinks, like, tilts his head a little bit, just like, talk about what?
Quiet kid
Did-
gets the gun. Everybody freaks out.
So, okay, you just, did you buy a gun with a target in mind? And he looks over to Marcus and just goes, bad guys. And Marcus opens his mouth and then closes his mouth again.
Did Marcus does that, and like you see just kind of like looking between them and just like stares down Marcus for a second. To be fair, you've been getting trained to punch the bad guy, so you really can't
No,
even try to say anything. Which
I
reminds me,
wasn't gonna say
Lockhart,
anything.
what the fuck?
He looks over at Lockhart and is like preparing an excuse, and then just there's just no excuse.
I mean, if he feels endangered, there's no problem with it, right?
I don't feel in danger yet. Did he say yet? Yeah.
Well, that's a fair thing to say.
Wait,
But-
wait. Back up like 45 sentences. Because you said you got a brain from the road. And he points at Kai and he's like, you fucking liar.
Wait.
What?
Oh,
You said you went on the highway. You were 100% on the highway.
yep, all of us were.
To be fair, I didn't pick this shit up. Legs did it.
That is also true.
Just frustrated gremlin noises, like kind of
Which-
flailing his hands around.
Look.
Announcements
Bengetti.
before you freak out about that, because there's more things to freak out about than just that, Bengetti. Joseph Diego is dead. Surprise.
No, it's like, I knew that. Kaya told me that over the phone, which I don't know how to feel about that. Wait.
Lockhart said that, I believe.
Lockhart said that.
But whatever, I learned it at some point, and now everything is a fucking mess. And
we took this
Cosmic.
from Joseph Diego.
Yeah, and we also lost someone. I don't know if anyone mentioned it to you.
Cosmic blinks and just raises his hand.
Yes, Cosmic.
Did you not want to invite me? And he, like, holds up the gun
Oh,
a little bit.
oh.
Well, to be fair, we weren't expecting to be in any sort of fight. We just were going to try and smash and grab and run, but a murder bot was there, so that was great. And Neon went out taking out Joseph Diego, though I think I fried something in his brain to, like, set Murderbot off. Because I kind of stabbed him and there was things on my knife that were not supposed to be on my knife. And that's when Murderbot started chasing me.
Marcus sits on the ground and, like, puts his elbows onto his knees and is just like, whew.
It's like pat on head.
Happened?
A lot of shit. I mean-
More. Does it go up? I don't even know what to ask. He just, like, rubs the back of his head.
We were chasing down the highway. Legs was able to get the package after Neon went out, taking Diego with her.
And, like, as soon as I stabbed Diego, that's when Murderbot turned around, started running after me. I am assuming that the two of you managed to stop Murderbot, kind of. Because last thing I remember seeing before he stopped chasing me was the two of you.
We delayed him for a second. Put a magnet on him. Got stuck to the ground. Locke hit his fucking knee. He kind of brushed it off though, and kind of shot at us, and we drove off.
We got away, that's what's important.
Yeah, I'll say.
And yep.
And the two of you got patched up from the looks of it. And, yeah, I ended up at your place, Marcus. And that, like, you know the rest from there.
Nods his head. Locke.
Yeah, and by the way, Locke's not allowed to punch shit for a while. Don't let her.
You hear a very hushed Marcus sigh of like, oh.
Pat on head again. But yeah, so we're gonna need to go back to Maxine because she's the only one that can figure this shit out.
Probably call her, let her know what this is.
That's something I guess I need to inform you about. She knows a little bit more than she did before, and because that's the only way I could get her to not be mad.
You didn't like bribe her with more.
Well, you still owe her French toast, yes.
Alright. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't like you were selling off half of my fucking recipes without me knowing.
They are still on the negotiating table. However, apparently she wants to talk to Marcus here. So that's on the negotiating table as well.
Wait. No, wait, Marcus was there for that, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, he is
already
fully
reacted
aware.
to that. Lockhart, were you saying something?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
Marcus, who is listening to all of this, is just like hands on the side of his head, pointedly avoiding Lockhart's gaze because he's just like, yeah, I didn't mean to oopsie goof out secret. Not Lockhart. Bengetti has his eyes locked on to that container and is
Kaya has it.
like a cat with bright wide pupils is just like, I want to look at it.
No,
Cosmic has reholstered his gun.
thank fuck.
So, you got the bad guy? I really don't think it's ever that simple. But I mean, maybe it is this time? He looks up at Legacy and Kaya like questioningly.
Nod.
Marcus does.
If the guy had half a brain on him, I don't think it's a good person thing.
Yeah,
Did we
considering he's
get
a piece of shit?
a bad guy? Yes.
Yeah.
And it looks very pointedly at Lockhart. But there's other things going on that we also need to discuss as a group. Right, Lockhart?
She looks at Legacy with a slight narrowing of her eyes, eventually, and takes a sip of her drink.
Now.
So, Marcus like rubs his brow. I mean, I've worked. Okay, I don't want this to be seen in a weird way, but I work at R&D for Tetsuo, and I know that for some of the cybernetics they brought in, and for some of the limbs that they were just like sort of nods his head back and forth, and some of the limbs that were being decommissioned, we'll say, there were serial numbers dedicated to them so that we would have some code to know which prosthetic went to whom. And just like kind of points to the container. Is there a serial number on that?
One way to fucking check. Kaya will just look at the container and just slowly pull it back out, looking for a serial number. And as she pulls it, she's just like, this is really fucked up. Just saying. Just for the record, this is some really fucked up shit. Anyway, where's the fucking serial number?
Considering the things that we have learned over the past 48 hours, this is actually one of the least fucked up things. Which we'll get to the other things that everybody needs to be aware of here shortly.
Just because everything's fucked up doesn't mean it's not, still fucked up.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't fucked up, I just said it was the least fucked up.
Bengetti is trying to shove his head underneath Kaya's arm so he can look at the brain closer. Just let me see it. Like, can I look at it? You can make this easier on yourself, but just making it easier for me.
Bengetti, if you make her drop that, I swear to God.
I'll fucking drop it on you. Back the fuck up.
You pull the container all the way out. And you see on the bottom of the glass container, there is a metal, it's almost like a placard, but it's small, right? But there is a metal label that is fused to the glass. And if you turn the container and look at it, you can see etched into that label is JD-0.
Fucking god damn it.
JD-0?
JD-0.
Legacy just like shrinks down a little bit. A little bit feral looking.
You know, kind of considering dropping the brain at this point.
No,
Not
I want it.
gonna.
Give me it.
No,
Give me
you're
it.
not gonna have the fucking brain. Move the fuck
Well,
over.
you were just gonna drop it. What do you want me to
actually,
do?
I kinda feel like dropping it. I'm not actually gonna fucking drop it. Do you have any idea how fucking hard to get out of the carpet?
Well, no, but if you're gonna get rid of it, you rather than throw it in the trash like
Not
me.
getting rid of it.
I'm not getting rid of it. It's just I don't like those fucking initials. All right.
What are they?
I am willing to
J-
bet Joseph Diego.
JD-0.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, you see what I mean? But I kind of got the urge to just yeet this off of the tallest building.
We do have a gun in the room. We could just
Yeah, we could shoot it.
make sure.
We need to figure out a couple things before we destroy it. Destroy it, yes, ultimately, but
Yeah, no, right now we gotta figure shit out. You're right. Just I kind of wanna, but not gonna. All right, Bengad, you're getting 5 seconds to look at it before it goes back in.
He like immediately goes for it and
She's
starts-
holding it. She's holding it. He can look at it. He can't hold it.
He wants to put his hands on the glass. He won't try to take it out of your hands, but he
Okay,
wants to like
so we'll let
hold
him.
onto it as well so that he can like examine it. And
Okay,
he is looking at it like a fucking rabid nerd dog.
Yeah. All right. Enough. Puts it back in the container.
Oh.
and Legacy just kind of like spins on the stool she is sitting in for a moment. Well, that's something. There's a couple other things that everybody needs to know about.
Yeah, I feel like I need a fucking drink if we're gonna uncover more shit.
I need a drink as well. What more could there be? There's a dead CEO and his brain, quote unquote, just right there.
She nods and she stops spinning and kind of looks at Cosmic. And
What's
she's
up?
like, hand through hair, a little uncomfortable now. So we figured out that there's some weird projects going on at Tetsuo.
What projects?
We'll get to that in a minute, because that's a little less important. Somehow they were copied or revived, or I don't fucking know. Lindis? Neon apparently, sir.
There's just a blink from Cosmic. And you can see that his eyes have a little bit of like a haze to them. Like he's kind of lost in thought. And Marcus like confusedly stands up and says, so I don't understand. So is this like a virtual intelligence or like a digital copy, like meant to imitate her? Like it's beyond fucked that would exist. But I mean, and this is what.
Legacy just looking towards Lockhart again. Either she goes for it or Legacy's going for it.
Iris, are you muted?
I was muted. I'm trying to think of how to word this. You really want to discuss this now, don't you?
But we have to get everything out on the table now because everything seems to be somehow fucking connected, and we need more brains than just the ones that we already have. And we have fucking geniuses from various different places, and whatever the fuck she is, and like gestures towards media.
No.
Yeah, media, how you hanging in there hearing all this shit?
It sounds like a plot to a really bad light novel. If I'm being
What?
honest with you.
Marcus scratches the back of his head and he's like, it kind of reminds me of Total Recall.
What?
Yeah, it does kind of
Isn't-
remind me of that, actually.
Wait, isn't recall when you gotta bring back manufactured goods because they're not up to date?
No, it's a movie, but
Yes, that is the definition of recall, though. So,
Oh,
we have. Oh boy. Is there? But there's more to this that you know? And he like looks at Lockhart with confusion. Like, I thought you were the punchy one. Why do you know political intercompany intrigue?
she used to work for Tetsuo.
I don't
That
know
was
if Marcus
already mentioned during the drunk night out.
mm-hmm.
Which is also, to be fair, would be a reason for Marcus to not remember.
I remember that.
I was gonna say, Marcus, unless you told him at the gym, he would not actively remember that until you reminded him.
Yeah, no, she has no reason to remind him, so
He just blinks and just goes, You used to work for Tetsuo too.
Yeah,
Well,
great.
why did you give me such a fucking hard time about it? Wait, I don't care. That's not important. What is the
Before we get into that, could you tell me a bit about the serial codes, you know? Do you know any offhand?
Most of the serial codes are some collection of 2 to 3 letters followed by some number of digits, and it depends. Sometimes you have they're never more intricate than like something you would see there, and it's typically a number that is a production number followed by the letter combination as to who it's going to. So we would have a record somewhere that is a corresponding entry of a unique number letter combo. So that I don't understand. He like taps his finger on. He like leans back and kind of taps his finger on the nearby table and just goes, I don't understand why that one's labeled as 0, because that there isn't a production 0. Like we're well into the thousands for basically every part that you could imagine. Hell, we're into the hundreds of thousands. There's been so many things produced, and I don't know what.
Unless that's
I don't know what to think of that.
unless it's the original.
I can kind of put 2 and 2 together, just from everything you guys have been telling me.
I mean, there's like an implication that is the original number for brain. He says, like, with a weird hiccup and like a catch in his throat. That's like the first brain augment, which I guess are the, like, wipes his face. I guess are the components there. Some of the components.
It could be a prototype for something.
He nods his head back and forth. He goes, yeah, it could be a prototype. But that thing would, I mean, for it to be the first one, that thing would have to be over well over 150 years old. Just old at this point, right? Like,
I mean, considering all the shit we've seen, it's not out of the fucking question.
Honestly, that's the least surprising things.
slow head turned to Lockhart.
Joe,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to use my knowing ability at this time.
Okay. What would you like to know?
I gotta word this
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
What is the purpose/origin of this brain? Or what it's meant to be for?
The purpose/origin. I will give you either the origin of the brain or what it was intended to be used for/with.
Do you guys have a preference?
What were the options? I was typing.
What its origin is, what that brain's origin is, or what its purpose was?
Oh boy. I would say what its purpose would be, because we have a very distinct hunch as to what the origin is.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
if a purpose might confirm the origin.
Okay, give me that purpose, Joe.
This was used to create copies. This is the template from which copies were made. The starting point.
You can kind of see Amelia's eyes, like, one eye closes, the other one focuses on that brain, and she's trying to, like, focus. And she's like, okay, logic dictates. She opens her eyes again. It's more than a prototype. I think that's the base one. The template that people would call it.
Wait. So is it? So it's. But I kind of see what you mean, but I'm confused. If it was used to create a copy, it is it? You see where my hang up is with this, right? And
Right.
he's just kind of looking at all of the other people in the room who have some experience with cybernetics and technology, and he's like, you can't copy a brain. Like you that's not a thing you can do.
Legacy just like holds up like one arm looped with cosmics and holds up her other just like with a finger in the air, like pause. And then looks at Lockhart again.
What did you say?
We can't hear you.
She said about that.
Oh.
She gave a big sigh and then said about that. Seems that Tetsuo has been working on modifying people's brains and she just leaves it at that.
Modifying people's brains and what?
She just leaves it at modifying people's brains.
Legacy just like pinches the bridge of her nose and shakes her head. Marcus, you remember me asking you about the Hex Project?
Yeah. Is question above table.
Hmm.
Is this the first time the Hex Project has been mentioned in front of Ben Getty?
Yes.
Okay.
I
continue.
thought I brought it up previously. Actually. No, I brought up the code. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. Continue, though.
Ben Getty doing weird shit.
Ben Getty is currently still looking at the tube, and you can see him starting to like root around inside of his own head. That is the Ben Getty theory crafting face, where he starts daydreaming of ideas.
Okay.
If he is not facing her, Lockhart would be looking more towards Bengetti. But if he can see her in some way, she'd be looking at Marcus, but then like keeping him in her peripheral.
You can roll me a threat assessment if you like. For yeah, go ahead. Threat assessment's fine.
Threat assessment with Ben Getty.
Why?
He's
I'm
about to go
boosting
feral.
this. Why?
Legacy is supposed to be the feral scientist, not Ben Getty. Getty's the yappy chihuahua.
17. Okay. So you're like occasionally looking at Ben Getty. He's not looking at you. He is like 100% fixated on this tube, which is in Kaya's hands, well protected, staring at it. And you notice as you are talking and looking back and forth from the conversation and others in the room back to Ben Getty, he is, for someone who is a fidgety, noisy kind of person, startlingly quiet and still. He is very, very fixated on that tube. So much so that he hasn't really heard what's being said on a general level. He is... You are not sure if he's planning on doing anything, like trying to go for it and lunge at it. It doesn't seem like he is, because of the position, like kind of way he's holding his posture and his body. The body language to you reads as like somewhere between trying to think or remember something and just awestruck at the potential that exists right within his hand, like right within arm's reach. But you could say his name and he probably wouldn't snap out of it until you yelled it.
Perhaps this is for the best.
No, because then we're gonna have to go through this again when he's paying attention. But Legacy is not paying any fucking attention to Ben Getty at the moment, because now Marcus is confused. And we kind of got our hands on some really important hard drives, and Lockhart went through them, and it's a lot of information about the Hex Project, which is apparently copying people's brains into a digital form.
And we're altering them.
And or altering them, and also the digital brains continually seem to be going crazy.
Marcus has lost all color in his face. Like he is just suddenly very, very pale.
And Legacy, seeing that, kind of starts to get up to go towards him, realizes she's also trying to comfort Cosmic in whatever way she can. Just like reaches a hand out towards Marcus to come over to her instead. And that's exactly the reason I was making sure they hadn't scanned your brain.
He like leans back towards the wall and then slides down into a sitting position again. Cosmic, he like still holding your arm, will like pat you a little bit, and he'll unloop his arm from yours and like kind of nod towards Marcus as if to say like you can go over there if you want to go over there. But he doesn't say anything. Marcus is just okay, scanning, copying, and then like editing.
Breathe.
What is
Breathe.
like he is not. He's roll me a cool check. You don't have to pass anything, don't worry.
It's good because, well, fucking, I got a whole bunch of prep that I don't ever use because I'm not hacking anything right now. Boosting this.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I boosted it.
Okay. Wow, Marcus rolled really well too. He is you might like kind of bring him back into it, snap your fingers, kind of just make yourself present next to him or as close to him as you can be, and tell him to breathe, and he's like, okay, yeah, okay. And he's just in and out, and you have successfully gotten him to avoid a panic attack. And he just kind of sits there, and he doesn't have anything more to add. He is just kind of breathing.
It's just like holding his hands, kind of crouched down in front of him, looking back over towards everybody else. And I forget, above table, is there something else with the Hex Project? Because there was a lot of information on that, but I think that's like, that summary is like at least 70-80% of it.
It's also a really old project.
Yeah. She just like looks around,
So
looks back. Go ahead,
there
Iris.
was the information about the people who were part of it, but a lot of it was redacted. There was legal stuff to like defend against it if something were to happen, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Interviews, different types of interviews from before and after, and then also with the altered, the before, the after, and then the also altered / separate separate being interviews. There was the companies that have been absorbed or were contracted by Tetsuo, and there was a building made, or at least a building supplied for Tetsuo.
Yes, there's I believe something detailing about a deed to a building in Turing Ward.
Yeah, and then a whole bunch of medical equipment being sent there with weird serial numbers. That's why I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Lacey's just like, and if we're talking about copying brains, and that one is being used to copy, and she kind of like nods towards the thing in Kaya's hands, then that might actually be one of the first ones, which would make it nearly 100 years old at least.
So, if how certain? And he turns to media. He goes, how certain are you that that is used as a base to copy something? and Media, you, because of your relationship with Observer, you are 100% confident in this information. There is no doubt in your mind that this was, at some point, used as a base to create replicas, and has been used as a base to create replicas since.
I don't know why I'm so confident, but 10,000% confident.
Marcus just nods his head. And he stands up, gets a little wobbly for a second, and puts his hand on the wall. Where's bathroom? And he just starts, like, looking kind of quickly.
Lockhart points towards the door.
Sprinting to the bathroom. This door slams, and there's the distant sound of, like, dry retching.
And if that's how a normal person takes that, do you see why I'd rather not continue the conversation?
Continue what conversation? Bengetti, like, suddenly aware. He's looking over at the bathroom with a look of, like, confusion and annoyance, because the noise had snapped him out of it.
Legacy is just, like, standing, mildly concerned, a little distressed, because she's like, okay, this is how I lose the boyfriend now. Like, he's not been able to handle everything until now, and now he's sick. And then Lockhart's comment, just immediate annoyance, looking at Vengetti, looking back at Lockhart, and you can tell without even needing to roll anything that she is now annoyed, which makes her spiteful. Which is, you say something or she is in the next 5 seconds.
Need to talk. Like, Lockhart was glaring at Legacy and says that while still glaring at Legacy.
Hey, Hazel. Hey, baby. And Legacy just nods slightly and crosses her arms, and, like, this very much, like, continue.
Johan, what do you know about the Hex Project?
Blinks for a second. Hex Project? He furrows his brow, and you can see him, like, really concentrating. I don't know, but I feel like I should. It sounds familiar. Oh, was it like a thing I did that I forgot about when I was working there? Like, you did all my paperwork, so, like, picking his ear.
Lockhart winces.
What?
I don't think you worked on it, but you were a part of it.
Okay. So, like, what is it? Is it about this? And he, like, kind of gestures to the tube on the table.
Nod.
He just looks at the tube and then blinks, like, really hard, and then kind of gets this, like, look of like, and says, I feel like I would have a better recollection of he just kind of waves vaguely at the tube, and he just goes, "If I was working on like brain stuff, because like that's really cool." Marcus comes out of the
We
bathroom.
put two together.
What'd
But
you
she
say?
talks-
Mark,
I put two and two together, but she's not saying anything. Or she had.
Marcus walks out of the bathroom. He has lines at the corners of his eyes. It looks like he aged about 5 years, but he is fine. He's washed his face a little bit and just like rubbing his face a little harder than he usually does. He walks over and just goes, "I'm good. I'm good. Sorry. I guess I have. I'm a little anxiety prone sometimes, but I'm good. I'm good." He sits down next to Legacy, and like when I say sits down next to Legacy, he like sits down and scoots really, really close to Legacy until he is like there's no space between the side of his left side and her right side.
She'll like just tuck herself under his arm and trying to be as supportive as she can manage to.
So you worked on a thing and you don't remember it, or like you just didn't work on the thing? Mengeti shrugs. Hard
Legacy
to tell.
pointedly looking at Lockhart again.
Do you remember signing up for any type of testing with Tetsuo Yohon
He shrugs and shakes his
on
head.
yourself?
Oh yeah, I remember doing some kind of really intense project. I don't remember like the nitty gritty details. Hi Amy. I don't remember the nitty gritty details, but yeah, I do remember something about and he stops for a second and then gets this kind of anxious look on his face and then says, "I don't think I was supposed to talk about it, but I guess now it doesn't really matter." But it was called like it was going to be a mapping for like a type of, it was going to be a mapping that could be used to coordinate and analyze different sections of the brain, and he like puts his own hands like on different parts of his head, and it was to sort of use to calculate a simulation. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Do you remember
Marcus
how long
nodding.
ago this was?
Oh, like 5 years ago. It was a while back. But I never signed up for anything. I think it was just like written into the contract of like I just work there, so they would just give me stuff to do.
And that was just making sure that was the thing that Lockhart did kind of know about, correct? That's what got them
Yes.
fired.
Yes.
So he has no clue what we're talking about here.
He knows that the project happened and there's details there, but he clearly is like preoccupied and doesn't seem to remember the finer details.
Is the 5 years ago timeline lining up with the Veluska thing? The age thing?
It should. I will tell you that unambiguously. If it doesn't, it's because I fucked up on the math.
And the Hex project, if I remember correctly, started way before. Yeah, 1999.
But it's been
Yeah,
ongoing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It started over 80 years ago at this point. And Ben-Getty just shrugs and says, "Yeah, like, I remember mapping like parts of my brain and stuff like that, but it never really went anywhere. I just did like, I actually just used some sort of tool that I developed, and then I used it to theory craft something for them, and it like after that I didn't really see anything to come of it. So it is what it is. It's just like corporate life,
And the tool was essentially the Horde, right?
The Horde.
Yeah, you mentioned it a long time ago, where it's essentially just a massive information that Tetsuo has.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
That was the tool he's referring to, correct?
Yes. There's two parts to the tool. One of it is the Horde, which is located on Earth, and the other is the equation.
Congratulations on having the most vague fucking names.
I didn't say the name of the equation because I don't know if you remember it, Iris.
I don't, but wasn't the equation essentially, wasn't it already that he had a mapping?
Yes, it was. So it was called the consciousness equation.
Okay, I did not remember that it's called that.
Yes, that is one of the only parts of it that Lockhart was ever directly exposed to, was the name of the project and what the intent was.
So, wait, the project she helped with was the Hex project?
No.
Okay, I was a little confused there, but okay, I get it.
No, it is a separate thing
Okay.
that they had basically come to you and Ben-Getty, more actually you, as his quote unquote handler. They went to you and they're like, "We have this," and they handed you the consciousness equation, quote unquote, handed it to you. It's not like a thing that you just hold on to.
Yeah,
but they gave you the resource that is the consciousness equation. And then they gave you access to the resource called the Horde, which is a hoard of information stored on Earth. And it is physically massive. And the actual array they have on the station here allows them to access a part of it.
Okay.
And with those two things, they looked at Ben-Getty and said, "We want him to produce a mapping of the human brain, a one-to-one mapping, because you will need both of these things." And Ben-Getty was given a couple of scans of his own brain to work with that were incomplete. And it took him a while, but he did do it. And after that, you were both fired.
Okay.
So tell him about copying brains. And tell him about the age thing.
Oh boy. I came back at a very interesting time, huh?
We explained it to Marcus because Ben-Getty was not paying attention. And now Ben-Getty wants to know what the fuck's going on.
And apparently it is scary enough to Marcus that Marcus got sick because of it.
Aww.
Now he's getting legacy cuddles to recover.
Yeah, so Legacy asked if he had his brain scanned at any point while he worked there, and he said he had, because he worked in research and development. And then he finds out about the Hex project, which explicitly needs a brain scan to do whatever it does. And then he started to freak out because he saw stuff about editing people's consciousness or their brain or whatever, and he has no idea how they do it. But he slipped into a micro panic attack, dry heaved for a little bit in the bathroom, and then came back out and was fine, he said in quotation marks.
In quotes.
But he is now sitting down next to Legacy.
Looking very pale and probably a little shaky.
A little shaky.
Oh no.
And the sound of retching in the bathroom snapped Ben-Gedi out of it, who, up to that point, had not heard a word of what was said because he was fixated on the tube that Kaya is holding.
Oh, come on, Lockhart,
Oh,
finish
boy.
it up before Kaya or Legacy have to step in and say something else.
Trying, okay?
You got this. Puts Brain away. No more distractions. Do it, coward.
I am a coward. That's not a problem.
Lock you two in a room together.
No, she still won't say anything unless she's being forced to.
That's true. Get like a little like megaphone and be like, tell him.
The only reason she is saying anything right now is because she knows that she has a very limited timetable before Legacy, out of spite, is just like blurts it out.
Says it in the most like traumatizing way
Traumatizing.
possible.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the problem. She's trying to make this not traumatizing, which this is not her forte.
Legacy just staring
She's
this
usually the blunt
interaction
one.
down, just like patting Larcus's knee.
And Cosmic, after like hearing some of this and hearing about the resurrected Lindis, he has a sort of steely look to his face. This is probably the most like hard, intense sort of stare you've seen him give. He's not looking at anyone. He's just kind of staring ahead, like staring ahead into somewhere between the wall and the floor, deep in some contemplative thought.
If he looks in Legacy's direction, she'll just like pat the floor on the other side of her. She is responsible for these two. She cannot be responsible for anybody else.
Lockhart takes her hand and forehead, kind of like covering her eyes a bit, like rubbing her temples. And she's like, Yoholm, do you know of any projects that included altering the brain or copying it or memories? She looks him dead in the eye.
All right, roll me 2d6.
The way you said that makes it sound like you're squaring up for a fight.
She-
She's like,
she-
alright, that's
she
how you're
can't-
playing? Okay.
It's
I'm gonna
not
make
even
you
that.
roll it.
It's not even that. She just like she doesn't know how else to process this.
Also wanting to see if he starts getting particularly squirrely.
Mm-hmm. So you say that to Ben-Gedi, and there's a moment where he like meets your gaze, which is uncharacteristic. Usually he's moving too fast and fidgeting too much that he doesn't really hold a stare. But he holds your stare at this, and then just thinks for a minute, and then like puts his hands on his hips and just goes, I think I did. I remember working on my own brain some, like doing that thing I mentioned. And I remember working on someone else's. But I can't remember why I can't remember. But I know that I can't remember. And he just, like, just really, really intensive brow furrowing and closes his eyes and is squeezing them shut. Just goes, why can't I remember any of this stuff? But, like, I know that I'm not... He he just kind of sits there in frustration and crosses his arms and continues thinking, but he just trails off.
Legacy is gonna like shift a little bit to try and catch Kaya's eye and give her like a meaningful look and nod towards Bengetti of like, just in case he starts freaking out.
Lockhart will stand up and walk towards him and stand right in front of him and kind of lean forward, or like lean down a bit so she's eye level with him. It's likely because of this Fox project. We think you may have been altered.
He looks up and like looks at Lockhart, and one eyebrow raised a little bit, almost as if to see if is this a bit? Are you gonna pull the rug out from under me at some point and tell me that this is all a huge joke to get me to admit something? And then it starts to settle in, or it starts to set in, and you see him, his eyebrow slackens and he starts to look kind of blank. Altered? Like, points to his head. Like they rearranged stuff.
Nod slowly.
Or took stuff out. Or maybe they put stuff in.
Slow nod.
He just is staring at Lockhart. Blinks for a second. And kind of straightens up. And it's unnerving to see Bengetti like stand with his back straight in this sort of. He's typically kind of slouching or moving around, but he's very still, and he straightens himself up to his full height, which is not very high, but still. And his arms at his side in a very apathetic kind of pose, and just kind of stares into the middle distance for a second. That would explain a lot, actually. Now that I think about it. That would explain the fact that I don't remember anything about my mother or having a mother. I remember how old I was at some point. I also, and he looks back at Lockhart, and there's a little bit of emotion in his face now. And he just a slight twitch to his eyebrows and says, I also don't feel like I care. Like, does this matter at all? And he just looks out to the rest of everyone. And Legacy, you hear Marcus under his breath go, he's lost it. Like, I don't care that, I guess I was, I don't know. Just looks back at Lockhart. Again, it just, in the least animated way possible. I guess it doesn't matter that I was made different in some way.
And just to double check, Joe, with the stuff that we've received from the Hex Project, this is in line with some of the interviews, right? Where they just didn't care.
There's an abject, like the response of just, they hit the subject and all emotion falls out. There's 2 responses, one of which is like horrified panic and inability to process, and then there is flatness.
Was there anything to indicate that the flatness was intentional?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that next.
No. Like intentional in the sense that the person is like putting on an act?
As in, the alteration that they did caused that.
Yeah, like putting a limiter on or something.
Ah. So. Who all has read in character project documents? Has everyone read it at this point?
She would have given like a copy when everyone should be down for to look at.
Mm-hmm. Lockhart confirmed. Did Kaya?
I mean, I personally only skimmed it, but I imagine if she was told it was important, she'd find the time to read it.
Okay. Legacy, probably for sure.
Yeah.
And media, you would have access to this information.
Oh.
Because of your unusual nature. So I will let all of you decide who of you is going to roll 2d6.
Fuck you.
No, like, it can't be me. That's cheating.
Fuck
Not it.
you.
I'll do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Did you understand that meme, Iris?
Yes, I did.
Another 7.
Another 7.
Lucky
Perfectly
number 7?
balanced, as all things should be.
Perfectly balanced.
So media, you're hearing all of this exchange, and you've heard the term enough now. Hex Project. And having only just been here, putting all of this information together, there is a distant part of you that it doesn't call to you in a menacing way, but in the same way that someone who watched you drop something out of your pocket yells to get your attention to give it back to you. You feel part of yourself, a different part of yourself, call to you and give you a puzzle piece to this whole thing. And all of this, all of the interviews, all of it was completely made to be how it is. This flatness was intentional. It was baked in after they saw the panic. They thought that they could capitalize on it by removing it and cutting more pieces out.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's what was going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the media speaks up. It probably means you weren't made to care. Or rather, they stopped you from caring.
Ben Getty just looks over at media and then just like kind of flatly tilts his head and shrugs. Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but what do we do now? Because I don't really think he just shrugs. Anything about it?
Do you still have an old scan of your brain from before all this?
He shakes his head. Not on me, but I would have it on like my old machine inside of the little lab at Tetsuro.
Well, we could scan your brain now, and you could look at it for any abnormalities.
He shakes his head and says, "No, you need there's a specific machine that they used to scan my brain in as fine a way as they did. But we could. I mean, I guess we could try, but I would have to." And he turns around and then looks at the giant project he has been working on.
Yep, I was just about to mention that too. Yep.
And he says, "We could repurpose that to do it, but like, it would take a lot of time. But I could just repurpose it. It wouldn't be able to provide network support in a way, but I mean, it could do other stuff. It could scan my brain."
Would anything at Maxine's lab lend itself to this?
No. There are things that could... There's nothing that is like an overt, like, this would work. There are things that she has that could maybe help with creating the process, but no, she does not have a machine that does that necessarily.
And would this fall into her expertise?
In a matter of speaking, yes. Because she is an expert on the nervous system, she does have some knowledge of the inner workings of the brain. And she also does have not a scanning machine, but she does have the plug in the side of her head that she has engineered. It's a bit more invasive, but it could be used to scan.
Or we could just repurpose the machine.
True. I thought you were about to say something like, or we could just go home and open up a coffee shop.
I also am slightly nervous because, like, repurposing that machine also means that it can't be used for what its current purpose is.
Correct.
Which then means that we may lose that boost should we need it.
I will also tell you with full clarity, the full dive machine is close to being complete at this point.
Which is why I don't want to mess with it too much.
I have a stupid idea out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Break into Tetsuo.
No.
Yes,
yes,
what.
Yes.
No.
That's what I thought too for a minute.
I thought
Let's fucking go!
My thought was, that's an idea. It's a really stupid idea. No way
Yep.
we're gonna do that.
Well,
let's fucking go.
I was like, that was on the list, but that was like number 5 on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, could we just build a fucking scanner? Like, Kaya
That-
can build.
You could. The difficulty now is using basically to build the full dive machine. Ben-Gedi had used the last little remnants of some of his really unique pieces from Tetsuo, and used the dev console that he was given from Cosmic.
Okay.
So, by fortunate circumstance, he was able to actually have some starting pieces to work with. You
We'll steal from
could
Tetsuo.
I was going to say, you could steal from Tetsuo or another company to try and get components to build a scanner.
So Legacy will just like she when Media's like, you could be like made to just not feel like that. She kind of like leaned forward, like elbows on her knees, like praying gesture and like thinking very deeply. And she just finally like sighs. Ben-Gedi? Marcus?
They both look at you.
Brains? If we scan a brain and find a discrepancy and have an original copy. And the person is willing, and she gives a very pointed look towards Bengetti and then Lockhart. Theoretically, I know you guys don't know the exact science at the moment. Theoretically, could a brain be reverted if it has been edited?
Marcus is just shaking his head back and forth. You can see the gears are turning. Bengetti thinks about it for a second, and then starts to go back to his normal animated self. He crosses his arms, and his face becomes noticeably more charactered as he scrunches his face a little bit and just kind of goes, "Well, okay, so you could reverse engineer it, but I mean, it's like you think of it like this: if you were to write a paper, like an English paper for school or whatever, and I came in and just deleted a huge chunk of it and wrote whatever I wanted, you could go back and delete whatever I did and then rewrite what you had. But you'd have to rewrite what you had. So, he just kind of does the one hand in the other. And Marcus nods and says, it's the same way with reconstructing nerves. In a weird way, it is the same sort of process. And he holds out his hand. That's why we can't really get full sensation in prosthetic limbs. We can get enough sensation to know pragmatically what we can and cannot grab and how much force to exert. We know if something's hot or cold, but there is a disconnect between that information being processed and the actual sensation. So when the limb is severed, we work backwards from what we know about the actual nerves that extend and just kind of do our best. And he just shrugs. And Bengetti just nods and just goes, yeah, exactly. You just kind of guess, do your best, and then you just get what you get.
Well,
Roughly
isn't the
speaking.
mind just made of neural pathways? I mean, you can reconfigure pathways, but the pathways are still there. That's
Well, yeah,
right?
for the most part. That would be sort of the weird thing with memory, because there's not one place, at least I don't think there is. I don't know, there's probably somewhere where this has been more figured out, but there's not really one place where specific memories are stored. But it's kind of like an amalgamation of a bunch of different things. So you can kind of trace the lines. Could be
If
done, but again, there's a certain amount of guesswork involved. What, Iris?
If Tetsuo was able to make altercations to others' memories, that would imply they probably have the base copy. At least any scientist with assault would keep the start, the base.
Yeah, you gotta.
Marcus just gestures to the tube on the table and he's like, hell, if that is actually the first one, they probably have them all. Right?
Media raise up their hands.
Yes, media.
I'm just gonna ask the obvious stupid question here, but you do have all of your brain, and it's not just part of it's missing or part of it's been replaced.
Are you asking Bengetti?
Yeah.
He just blinks and shrugs. I mean, probably. If I didn't have all my brain, I probably wouldn't be able to, just kind of moves his arms. Of course, I wouldn't really know if it was cybernetic, unless something bad would have happened to it.
The Lurska would know.
He looks over at Lockhart and just gets the sort of recognition on his face. Just goes, "Yeah, that makes sense. He probably would know."
Text
And
Veluska.
he did. I think actually Veloska did mention he didn't have cybernetics beside his eye, correct?
Yes, that is what Veluska mentioned. But he also wasn't looking at his brain. There's a very stark contrast between like.
But wouldn't like an X-ray, like if he had a concussion or something, wouldn't there be an X-ray?
This is true.
Like that's more what I'm saying. Like
handheld MRI.
Yes. Yeah. If oh god, a handheld MRI would be rough with the brain metal. But yeah. He had said like the only implant that Ben-Gedi seemed to have was his eye.
Lockhart will say that.
Marcus raises his hand now. And
All right, Marcus. Why is
Marcus.
everyone raising the fucking hands? We're all adults here.
Marcus will point to the box that you had, the other one, the small one, and he'll say, if you need the full brain, what good is that little bit of it? Would they build the entire thing out of machine based on one little bit? Or what?
Maybe they just wanted that little bit out of it.
Cosmic,
That
like,
bit again?
say what?
What was that bit again? What part of the brain was it?
Yeah, I was about to ask. Just
It was part of the neural cortex,
Vortex.
which the... Let me see.
You're trying to make me remember my like junior year anatomy class. I don't remember what this does.
I don't know shit about anatomy at all.
Let me
That
see.
was longer ago than I care to admit, Joe.
Hey, your cortex involves the higher process in the human brain, including memory, thinking, learning, reasoning, problem solving, emotions, consciousness, and functions related to your senses.
The cerebral cortex, there it is, not neural cortex, the cerebral cortex. But yes, that is it. It kind of contains, quote unquote, everything.
So they essentially...
Everything that makes you, theoretically. The rest of the brain would be the like actual like functioning of organs and functioning of the body and everything like that.
And you don't need that.
Cosmic, like having Kaya given permission to just speak freely, Cosmic does not raise his hand and says, well, what if they like had a scan and a little piece of brain? Could they make a you out of pieces?
Oh, it's the lock sucks theory.
Wasn't that essentially what the Hex Project was, though? That they were making people out of pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Lockhart will head over to, like, a drawer somewhere in the living room, and pull out, I assume, a copy of all this, and hand it to I'll just leave it on the dining room table or whatever, just for anyone who wants to grab it.
Looks towards Marcus. Do you actually want to read this stuff?
He is staring at that pile of papers, and he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he gets up and takes a stack of them, and he starts reading through. It's sorted by the actual like content, so he takes the top stack and just starts flipping through it. He's like, okay, start of the project. Wow, all of this shit is blank, huh? He's just flipping through it, and like seeing it in another person's hands. I don't know if I ever described it, but there's large chunks of it that are basically just black lines, just redacted, redacted, doctor redacted, on date redacted, like over and over and over. Paragraphs of omission, and then there's bits and pieces that stick out. Marcus starts flipping through it. Ben-Gedi walks over and grabs a stack. Like he picks up one, looks at it, grabs one underneath it, looks at it, grabs one underneath that, looks at it, just kind of makes a little bit of a mess, and then just grabs one and starts flipping through it. Cosmic reaches over and grabs a stack, and he starts flipping through it. This is a mess. Who made these documents? This is basically useless. It's just a bunch of fucking black lines. I didn't want anyone to, I guess, know it existed. For probably a lot of reasons.
The first document was what your friend found or had taken from Tetsuo.
Oh, like you say that, Legacy is like has like a oh moment, and she'll send a message to Hijack, like, "Are you still alive?"
You get it. There's a couple seconds go by, and you get a text back, and he's just like, "Yeah, please tell me this is actually Legacy."
Yes, it is. I will swing by later. What kind of food do you want? That's part of your reward.
Speaking of which, when does my food get here? It's in like 30 minutes, Jeff. I ordered Mexican food.
I will say your food can arrive in the next like 60 seconds, and we'll take we can take an in/out of character 10-minute break as every or 5-minute break. Sorry, 5-minute break because there's shit to do. A 5-minute break to have everyone read and eat food. You're welcome to continue to roleplay. I will do my best to have in-character responses because I'm getting some water.
Yeah. Legacy will dedicate herself to like picking up dinner for Hijack and making sure that he has been fed. And then explaining whenever they happen to get back to the apartment. At least a few things, not everything. A few things.
So, I think they need the Observer to fully complete this project. And I think they wanted to use Bengeti to do it.
Are you saying that as media or out of character?
Should I say it out of character or in character?
Oh,
Your
fucking nope.
choice. No.
Will I get punched if I say it in character?
No, you'll just end up with a Legacy being like clicking back in of like Alien.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'll say that. I'll say like, well, judging from all the pieces you guys left and just me being the outsider here, it sounds like this thing isn't finished and they need the Observer to finish it. And points to Bengeti. He's been really obsessed with the Observer, so maybe they need him for it.
Bengeti the papers. He flips, goes, "Oh no, it's finished."
Oh, okay.
And then like, it's finished. I know that for sure.
Oh,
Hold on.
there goes my theory.
Okay. So,
Any other little tidbits you want to share with the class?
oh wait, hold on. It's finished, but I still need something. So he looks at the tube. Okay, well, he points at it because I don't have the building block. They need to make something. They have like the whole production thing, but like they don't have the main piece. They don't need to build the thing to make it. They just need the thing to like copy.
The thing in this case being...
He just blinks for a second. Cosmic speaks up and says, "Him?" And he points to Bengeti.
The recording that Lindis got did say that Diego did say that he needed his brain.
Well, Diego's dead now, so what does that mean?
Legacy just like head tilt one way, eyes closed, sour face. I mean, yes, Diego is dead, we think. But again, if we remember what Neon told us in the past couple of days, we don't know for how long that might be true.
But
Marcus turn. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
they can't make a clone if they don't have that.
Unless they're super fucking paranoid and they've got like multiple fucking copies.
Marcus looks over to Media and kind of points a finger and says, pardon me if this is wrong, but you had a cerebral implant in your brain, and it somehow maybe contracted some part of Observer. So does that mean anybody with a brain implant could accidentally get infected? Or just, is it even infected? Is this going to happen more?
I don't know. I mean, you're right that I do think I got some of whatever in me, but I don't know if the Observer wanted that, or perhaps it had to.
Cosmic leans over and points to Lockhart and says, so if they bought all of these medical things and like these big medical companies, I figure they're making clones. So they don't need like the whole brain. They can just make a brain, right?
Which fucking horrifying thought.
But they're
Oh.
missing a piece.
Yeah, they're missing him, I guess. And he points to Ben Getty again. Ben Getty has gone back to being like kind of disconnected.
Maybe they need a wealth of information like what the Observer has in order to completely process the brain together?
Well, maybe it's. Never mind.
Well, if they only need a piece to make a copy, that would explain why there's only a sliver of that one. And if they only need a copy and they could, and he just kind of balks at this as he says it, they can grow a brain, I guess, because they bought all of these medical companies and medical equipment and all this stuff. So I guess they could duplicate an entire brain if they had, and he counts on his fingers, a mapping, a piece, and the components.
Well, we'll have to figure out what's special about Mr. Ben Getty here in order to solve that puzzle, I think.
Immediately, Ben Getty snaps out of it and just goes, pretty much everything about me is special. Look, I don't know if you noticed or not, but like this whole thing revolves around me.
You are pretty intelligent.
He nods. It's nice to be finally recognized by not like a crazed villain person, company guy.
As
Finally recognized? The fuck?
Well, you recognize me, but you always recognize me with anger.
What? It's fucking bullshit.
I'm gonna be texting my good friend Tommy about random shit. Oh look, the food's here. She goes and gets the food, begins
Mhm.
passing it out to everybody.
as much
No,
as
I'm
you're
just. Sorry, Ed.
as much as you're the MacGuffin in all this, I think it's more tied to your father.
Are you saying it's more tied to Ben Getty's father?
Yes.
Ben Getty blinks and shrugs. I wouldn't know.
Neither would any of us. Just with what Joseph Diego said previously, they seem to be very close.
Oh boy.
Just seems important is all.
Just puts a hand on his chin. Should I have my birth certificate some?
It's probably a thing most people have on them, at least in a file cabinet somewhere.
Just kind of awkwardly shuffles back and forth for a second. I don't know if I have it on me. If I do, it might be in here. And he just gestures around as if to say the entire house.
You don't got a fucking storage filing system or something?
No, I got some boxes I haven't unpacked.
Haven't unpacked. How long have you fucking lived here and you haven't unpacked boxes?
A couple of years. Didn't need to unpick them.
Do you even know what's in them?
Shakes his head. Not like clothes or food stuff or whatever, so didn't bother.
You just got boxes that you haven't unpacked yet.
He narrows
know
his
what
eyes. He narrows his eyes at Kaya, and then he just goes, "See, this is why you are. This is why I say you recognize me through anger, because I feel like I'm being very recognized by this right now."
I'm just. What? I was just about to ask if you wanted me to go through them with you.
Still narrow-eyed, just sure. I suppose we could do that.
Figure it out. Maybe there's something important in them. Maybe there's just some knickknack you thought you lost, or I don't know, some tool set that you needed. You never know what's in them if you forgot about them.
Cosmic holds up his hand and says, "I'll help. I don't have anywhere to be."
Yeah, we'll go through the boxes, figure out what's in them, see if we can find your birth certificate. Because that's just good to have on, at least know where it is.
Marcus holds up his hand and says, why are we looking for his birth certificate?"
He brought it up.
Ben Getty shrugs and says, well, I figure it's probably important to know, like, maybe it has my mom's name on it? Or like, shit, like the year I was born or something. I thought you knew how old you were. Well, I do, but like, there's a difference between that and knowing like the year, date, time or whatever, or like where. There's records and shit, right? So maybe there's stuff about my folks on there? Is that how those work? I've never actually looked at one.
That reminds me.
Mark?
You might not be as old as you think you are either.
He just blinks. What do you mean?
Veloska did some testing on, what was it, blood sample?
Did some blood work.
Did some blood work, and there was a discrepancy regarding your age.
A discrepancy?
compared to 5 years ago, your age doesn't match up to them.
She just blinks. So I'm getting younger?
No, that's not how the doctor described it.
Cosmic points at Bengeti and just goes, in a baby body. Baby body?
Legacy 100% has been kind of serious and just like letting this all play out. Cosmic says that and you just hear her choke where she's sitting on the floor.
Marcus like mouths the words baby body? Yeah. Like a normal body, but like he holds two hands like closer together. But younger. Like a baby body, but not like an actual baby.
Slightly younger.
A slightly younger version of me. I was okay. So what is the proposal here that I was like picked up and dropped in a different younger version of me? Cosmic nods. Bengeti starts looking around like, what? That's like nonsense, right?
It sounds like it, but between all of that, and she kind of like gestures towards the various stacks of paper, and some other things that I was pretty sure were not possible, but apparently are, that I have discovered. She kind of like waves her arm. Again, still rattling with fucking gravel. I forgot that little tidbit that I added. Yeah, that's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Like, come on there. And he turns to look at Kai and Lockhart. Like, really, why would they have like a younger me just lying around?
How would I know?
Yeah. Yep.
Just
That.
heavy sigh. I'm gonna have to get into Tetsuo servers, aren't I?
Where would they even keep him? Probably in a container kind of like that one. Points to the table. But obviously much bigger.
Right.
Cosmic says under his breath, this is like Blade Runner.
What? You run with a knife?
Another movie.
Alright.
Oh boy. Marcus, looking at that paperwork, what you can actually read, does Tetsuo still structure their R&D like that?
Rubs his head, like kind of rubs his forehead. I mean, this is very legalese. This was clearly gone through with a fine-tooth comb by a bunch of editors, but for the most part, I've written white papers kind of like this. Actually, I have written white papers kind of like this. Not that I'm involved in this project. That's not what I'm trying to say. He like very firmly waves a finger, which is like, what I mean to say is that there's a library of stuff like this inside the office. Like they keep old records on hand, because I mean it's there's scientists there, right? So they keep old records of stuff. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless to run experiments. But yeah, there's an entire library of documentation that supposedly goes all the way back to when the company started. At least that's what they say. I doubt it actually does, but
When you
I mean,
say library, are we talking server or are we talking paper?
it depends. Some parts of the library are digital only and some parts are paper only. They didn't... given how network security has become such an issue, there's a mix of hard copy and digital copy. Tetsuo's, they've got a really, really tough to crack digital wall, but even in their case, I guess they think they're not bulletproof. So there's hard copies. A lot like this, and he just holds up the paper.
And what's the likelihood that it's not redacted?
Slim to none. This is redacted all to hell, and it's damn near useless. I don't know if it would be redacted. But if there's a digital copy, it might not be.
And if it is, there's a chance that I can trace it. I really, really, really wanted him being dead just to be the end of all of this, you know?
Fortunately, I think we're all in for the long haul.
Oh boy. Well, now what, I guess? I mean, there's also other documentation that we could probably look for. You still have a server there, don't you? And he points to Ben Getty. Oh, probably. But I don't know if they cleaned up my office at all. Doubt they would, considering my office was also, like, partially a lab. It just had a desk in it.
And if they're going after you, they probably already took all your shit.
Probably. But, like, there was, like, a recording device for recording certain things of parts of experiments. There's a filming device for filming certain parts of experiments. I prefer doing that as opposed to writing stuff because I don't like to write stuff. That's why I had Lockhart.
I doubt they would just get rid of that kind of stuff, though, if you're recording everything.
They probably got it down to lock and key, or if we're lucky, probably something into it.
And
Legacy's like, face, inhale. Decidedly getting up and moving less and less, because she is tired. And she just...
So...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Ben Getty, like, waves kind of dismissively at the thought of it being uploaded to a server somewhere, and he just goes, no, they have protocol for stuff that's, like, too sensitive to keep, but it has to be digitized. They put it on, like, a separate device and just store the device physically somewhere.
So another fucking hard drive hunt?
Just blinks. Well, I guess. I mean, if you want to do that, is that what you... Are you trying to get me roped into another, like, bomb run highway thing?
To be fair, you weren't roped into the first one.
Joe?
Well,
Yeah, if anything, you seemed kind of upset that we didn't invite you.
well, that's... I was a little upset. Marcus shrugs. I was a little upset too, but I mean, I'm glad you're all glad most of you are okay.
Good thing you remembered that. That's kind of the reason why we didn't want to involve everyone we fucking know and care about in this.
I mean, we're all pretty invested in this craziness now, I
Yeah, and
guess.
sorry for not giving you the option of wanting to get involved if you wanted to. Going forward, we'll probably run it by you, see if you can help with whatever you wanna.
I forgive you.
Thanks, Cosmic.
Marcus just like confused, like what? But yeah, Ben Getty's right. They do have they do have a specific way of storing highly sensitive digital only data and would probably be in a hard drive. Or if they could compact it into a smaller form, maybe even a disk or a USB, something they could stick in a secure location and shut away.
Right.
Johan,
Ben Getty looks up.
Joseph Diego was the one who particularly assigned you that last job, correct?
Blinks for a second. Oh yeah. Yeah, he did actually. The thing with the like brain mapping, whatever.
Hmm. If it was that important to him, what's the likelihood that this kind of information isn't even in, or is in his office? Some hidden safe or something.
And he shrugs and goes, oh, I don't know, I haven't been in his office. I haven't been in his office for a long time. Marcus turns his head, just goes, you've been in his office? Like that guy points to the jar, blinks. Well, yeah, I think I have. It's kind of one of those foggy things again.
What can you remember of it? Do you know when it was? What it was about?
It was a long time ago, before I met Lockhart.
And how long was that? Looks to Lockhart.
Excuse me while I get the pinned messages.
Lockhart opens up her phone.
He's with him at 19. So, almost 10 years ago? Give or take?
Mm-hmm. Over 10 years ago.
Yeah. I started working with him about 10 years ago, so longer than that.
Holy shit.
If it was that long ago, then there's not any guarantee that there's anything useful that he would remember, even if he remembered clearly.
I remember what I do remember very clearly. That's objectively not true. So Marcus puts his face in his hands.
I mean, technically, he's not wrong. He's saying that what he does remember, he remembers.
Semantics.
Alright, what? Alright, buddy. What do you remember? Alright?
About the office? Or about, like, Joseph Diego?
I'll take all three. The office, what the meeting was about him himself.
Oh, well, we had a couple meetings. Not about the project I was talking about. Well, like, I remember going there more than once. And I remember his office being really high up and, like, big, kind of broad. Really likes the color red. Reds and greys and kind of like that sort of shade, I guess. I think he had a fireplace in his office. He had a fireplace in his office on a space station. Just nods. Yeah.
There's a reason why he's the king of the jackasses.
Bet Marcus just sighs and nods. So if I remember right, I think the meeting we had was something about Can't quite remember. Well, we had a lot of meetings. Only the one about this one. About the, like, what was it? I think it's the consciousness equation, that thing. Only the one meeting. I didn't really meet with him much right around the time Lockley came.
So you met with him constantly, or a lot, before I came into the picture.
Shrugs. Feels like it. Again, it's kind of like one of those things that feels like I'm not supposed to remember, but I do remember.
Alright, anything else you got?
He shrugs and his eyes drift towards the cylinder and just kind of linger on it.
You remember something about this?
What? The cylinder itself?
Well, what's inside of it?
Well, sort of, guess.
Alright, what you got?
It's hard to say. Something like, well, I remember there's brain in there.
You
The
remember
audible
that it's
sound of
more-
facepalm.
Kaya's being patient. She's like, alright, is that something you remember from you learned it a couple minutes ago? Or seeing it, do you remember that you knew what was in it before?
Well, kind of both. It helped to see it, because I definitely remembered something important about it, and then when I saw that it was brain, I remembered that it was brain.
So you saw it
I...
before.
Oh yeah, not like that one, but like I've seen them before. I actually maybe have seen that one.
Them?
Shrugs. I don't know.
There. Okay.
Well, I mean, if it's they made copies of it. I mean, Joseph Diego seems like the kind of jackass to show off his little fucking clone copy brain collection.
He shrugs and just goes, well, I don't remember him keeping any of those in his office, at the very least.
But she's not wrong.
Probably, I don't know, had a fucking brain trophy room for him. Were they in a lab?
Ben Getty starts to think. If there was anything in a lab, anything sensitive, like this, gesture to the table, it's got to be in the Turing lab. I mean, the Turing lab is mentioned sort of in here. He holds up the documents. There's like legal documentation about a property in Turing ward, so it has to be the lab, right? The experimental lab.
Have you ever been to that lab or doing work
No.
related to that lab?
I've done work that has been confidential, but I've never been in that lab. Some of the information and data that I collected went to people who worked in that lab, but no, I've never been in it myself.
It sounds like that's where your answers are.
Oh,
You
some
say
of
that,
them.
isn't that place also a fucking fortress? Isn't that why we struck on the highway so that we didn't have to go over there?
Well, unless you can give a way to get the information out.
Marcus just
Actually,
leans back and, oh,
come to think of it, I might be able to do that.
You might be able to what?
Get into their systems. With her help. Points to Legacy.
Are you sure you want to try that?
I can listen into transmissions because of the observer thing. And I think maybe if she piggybacks onto my signal, she might be able to hack into it from wherever I listen in on.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think it'd be, the first thing we try considering what happened to Maxine.
She's not wrong, though, and Joe, did I get
Yes.
like a proper scan of Red? Is that what I got off of him?
Not entirely. You got a glimpse of you got a glimpse of it. It did not. You did not get to like seed information that you could readily copy.
It'd be more based off memory.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Legacy just slowly will pull up what information she does have from Red and stare at it. With some other information plus this, theoretically I could start figuring out how to maybe work around their security. I mean, I've gotten into some of their super low level security once or twice, but
So you're asking the information you have on Red combined with some of the other stuff that you've picked up from like the low level backdoors.
She is trying to like figure if she can do like the low level backdoors plus Red plus, I don't know, just like running, like testing out security in a couple other places. She might be able to puzzle piece together a program to get her through. A theoretical pathway.
There's not an immediate answer that comes to mind. Much like actual coding, you look at this and you're like, I think it might be doable, but it is a long process of sitting down to see where things would go wrong, like what roadblocks you'd run into.
Yeah, that's kind of what she's not trying to say she can do anything right now, and I'm not trying to say I can do anything right now. She's just like trying to figure out some theoretical pathway, like path that she can put herself on to like try and do something useful.
The immediate answer, and I would imagine you probably saw this coming, the immediate answer that you get from all of the ways you can think about going at it, the way Tetsuo has locked, at least from the information that you've gathered from the immediate conversation, the way that Tetsuo has locked down information digitally, especially highly sensitive information, having it be digitized and then physically locked away. There is not a way to get the information off of something that would be like restricted and hidden, much like a disconnected hard drive. But you could maybe get into their system, but there is a reason people don't go after Tetsuo digitally. And you've not run into their really tough stuff. The best way that you could think would be to plant a bug inside so that you don't have to come up with a program to drill through the Great Wall of China that is Tetsuo. Rather, the end-all be-all hacker solution of rather than devise some program to do it is to go around it. And that's basically where you're at, is you're not sure if it's possible. It doesn't seem possible immediately, which leads you to go around.
Legacy just starts talking to herself. Talking devolves into grumbling. Grumbling devolves into her just laying down.
We'll soon know that other dreamer is in the Turing lab.
Exactly.
Huh, I wonder if I can talk about that.
Probably don't.
Ben Getty
Check the
seems
box.
very interested in this, and he's like, I would like you to try and talk to that dreamer. If we run into it.
Okay.
I think for your own fucking safety, you probably shouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, closest thing would be Max.
Do you say the closest thing would be Max?
Yeah, to cut her off. Cut herself off. It's like, not opening that can of worms. I've got enough open cans that we're dealing with right now.
So, what do you guys want to do? Is the question.
I want to have a drink.
I want to
I
sleep.
want to have a drink.
Sure, I'll get a drink. I think they Uber drinks these days.
Kaya just looks at her bag that JJ gave her and Lockhart a bottle of vodka.
Yep.
Pulls out a fucking bottle of vodka from her bag.
Where the fuck did you get that from? Did you just have that the whole time?
Stored by Benedoc. JJ gave it to us.
Oh.
From her place on the ground. Like, she just, like, stares at Kaya until Kaya looks in her direction and just, like, lifts a finger. 1.
Rolls her eye. It's like, yeah, it's fucking vodka. It's not whiskey. I can't exactly fucking chug it.
1.
Whatever. Look, anyone want a fucking drink?
Sure,
Getty-
I'll take a drink with you.
Getty,
Marcus
where do
gets
you
up
keep
and
the
he's like,
cups?
absolutely. I have a cup upstairs.
Yeah, more?
Just shakes his head and then partway through shaking his head no, looks over to Lockhart.
Looks
Goes
to
Lockhart.
over
Lockhart.
goes over to a cupboard that's high up. Pulls out some cups.
I'm
Hey,
going
Lock.
to text Talme and see if she's up to grab a drink soon, so I can visit her.
Yes.
Yeah,
You would get a response probably within a couple minutes from her that she would be more than happy to get a drink with you.
Absolutely.
And let me make a note here.
Because I need friend. I also want to make friends with Kaneko as media. That way I can still have that friendship despite being dead.
We have to find Kaneko
We have
first.
to find her, but I do want to be her friend too.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that I said last time that Legacy is wearing one of Ben Getty's lab coats like a Snuggie.
Hell yeah. Kaya still got her fucking biker gear on, actually. Because they came straight from the fucking heist to Bitter Dark to here.
Well, it
Marcus,
has been
after
very terrifying to meet you all, but hi.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Do not spread anything that you have heard here.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm a little ditzy, but not stupid.
Alright. Kaya pulls out her phone. Like, tosses it to media.
She wasn't expecting that, so she almost catches it. It bounces in her hand. She tries to catch it with the other hand, bounces, and she finally catches it.
Oh, put your number in.
Okay. Okay. Media Cameron. She puts Media Cameron and then with a heart next to it,
Aw.
and then puts her number in.
All right. I mean, gotta keep you updated on all of this shit, considering you're against you well connected to it.
I guess, yeah.
And if you really want to try to use what you've got to get into the system, then we gotta make a plan around that. I really think that should be a last resort, though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys think is best. I just want to help because, it sounds like they're not doing good things, and that's not good.
You talk like you know what the observer wants in a way.
It's like Media pauses. It's like I've been trying to explain. I don't feel like, Media. I feel very disconnected from her. But at the same time, I feel the same way about the Observer. I feel like I am the Observer, but I've been disconnected. I feel like a stranger in my own body. And she just gives a little laugh at that.
Oh shit,
What-
need a hug or something?
I don't know what I need right now, but Media likes helping people, so I'll help people,
Alright. Well, if you ever want to talk, don't hesitate to
Yeah.
reach out, especially
But-
because.
Legacy raises a hand. Flat on the back, but like hand raised straight in the air.
Yes, Legacy?
I know you said you feel disconnected, but in all of this, did this part that is Observer in a weird way seem to have a strong opinion?
It does not like Tetsuo.
Okay, I'll take that.
Cheers.
I think I need a nap. It's not even dinner time.
Well, I got food, so it is dinner time.
He just takes
Have a quesadilla.
a bunch of food. Thank you. Am I like a spy now for Tetsuo? Or for you
100%.
guys, but like double
You're-
agent?
You're likely going to be in.
Oh, don't say that.
I mean, he's given up information. He's going to be, if he's caught, he is going to be accused of treason. So, yes.
Maybe we
And
should
also-
revisit you being fired.
We're risking our lives in all of this. It's the least you could do.
I wanted to be involved with this sort of stuff. That's sort of why I had planned on getting an upgrade.
Hands
Your
on
turn.
face.
Your ties to Tetsuo make you a very big asset.
I also have some level of security clearance with them, technically, because I'm R&D. I'm not, high level, I can get anywhere I want sort of security, but I can go basically anywhere inside the office building. I haven't tried to go into the CEO office, but I don't
You'll have,
think I could get in there, but I could probably get to the door.
you'll have to beef up your lying skills and your poker face.
I can teach you how to act. I'd love to teach you how to act.
I am a terrible actor.
That's why I said teach you. I love acting. Acting's so much fun. Or media,
Okay, before we decide to make Marcus the sacrificial lamb here,
Yeah, we should probably take a couple of steps. Probably take like a whole block back.
Oh, I wasn't trying to sacrifice them. Just I like teaching people how to act.
I wouldn't want to be sacrificed if it means anything to the rest of us.
I'm
You won't
sure
be sacrificed.
Pat Media, like, I'm sure even if he doesn't go through with this, acting is a good skill. You probably teach him anyway. However,
Yeah.
probably take a couple steps back from this like idea of him going like on a super spy mission.
Cosmic raises his hand and says, "I could teach you how to shoot."
Ooh, teach me how to shoot too. Well, I mean, I kind of know how to shoot already, but you're like a super gamer. I'd love to learn how to play games. Let's be friends.
He just blinks and nods like, okay.
Yeah.
Kai's about to make a group chat for Cosmic or in Media.
So am I going to work tomorrow? I think I am.
That's a conversation we need to have.
Honestly, you should act normal.
The longer he's gone, the more suspicious they'll get.
The day's already over for them, probably. And tomorrow is going to be a mess if... Well,
It's
what am I saying? Of course it's
honestly
true.
your choice.
One more day couldn't hurt. Just to see what's happening. They're not going to know anything about what I am near. I wasn't even
Unless
near
they're
the
tracking
incident.
you.
No, I don't think they would be. Right?
You suddenly left work at around the same time that the news of the big man's death happened, right? I'd suspect you.
Well, it depends on... Well, no, I left after it happened.
There is also the possibility that they won't even bring it up. Keep it need to know.
Yeah, just
Why tell the
yourself. They're not gonna suspect you.
Why tell the rank and file? It cause panic.
Puts a hand on his chin and nods. That's a good point. I mean, I'm not an executive. I'm not even close to an executive. I'm not a decision maker. I'm just an R&D employee. But I'll go in tomorrow and just see what happens, I guess.
If you think for even a minute that they are suspicious of you or anything beyond just annoyed that you left, you need to leave because we don't need you getting hurt or involved in things that we can't help you because we don't know what's going on.
I'll be fine. I don't think anything will happen. And, well, if something does happen, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be in the secure facility in Turing Ward. Like, they don't have any armed guards at the offices because, well, it'd be a bad look. So, I mean, well, they might have armed security, but they're not going to be the ones that we saw at the hotel that one time. I'll be fine. And yeah, if it seems weird, I'll run. I've got better cardio now. Like, does a little bit of a flex.
The key is if something suspicious is happening, to act confident as you try and make your way out.
Ben-Getty just very quietly under his breath is like, radiates confidence. I can be confident. Yeah, like, cool and just disinterested, confident. Easy.
Lockhart
Kaya's
gives a
gonna
little
lean
smirk
in.
at that.
Kaya's gonna like lean into someone like near, probably like to Lockhart or Legacy, just like, should we be like around the corner if he needs this quick escape?
Legacy's giving everybody else in the room just a sour look. Slowly sits up and waves the arm. Rattle, rattle. Alright, come here and help me get this shit out of my arm.
Yeah, that sounds a lot further in there than I first thought it would be. We should probably deal with that now.
Get Marcus distracted, get everybody else to leave Marcus the fuck alone. Gets up, moves to a table so he can work.
I will say for Lockhart, generally speaking, the company is large enough that if one person like just was gone on a certain day and had an unexpected absence or a no call, no show to work, they would get bitched at endlessly by their boss, obviously.
Mhm.
But they're not going to be suspect of, particularly Marcus. From what
Yeah,
you've gathered,
Lockhart doesn't think they're going to be sus, but she's trying to give him encouragement, I guess.
yeah, it's also worth noting that, like, he is already kind of an anxious person, depending on the situation. So it's not too unusual for him to, after the day of a huge fiasco in Voyager, you're like thinking about it, it's like, okay, even if he is a little anxious about it, I don't think they're going to look at him any differently. They're going to look at him and be like, dude, chill. You're not going to die. Rather than, dude, you're acting very suspicious. Did you have something to do with this bombing?
Well, on top of that, too, Lockhart has been trying to get him to deal with stress a bit better. Because remember, like, she kept egging him on and stuff during training to help him a little bit with controlling his emotions a little.
He's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Today was a real testament to that, or a real test of that. That he failed when he found out that his brain had been scanned and what that could mean. But it's definitely a lot better than it would have been.
I mean, it's understandable when something like that comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But is there, to pick up back at that moment, is there anything anyone wanted to say or do?
I have a small thing. Does anyone else have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
No,
Okay.
Legacy's just salty right now.
Hiding Marcus.
By the way, Johan, I have some pictures here that might help you with your VR project.
With what?
The VR project for the full dive.
Ah. He, like, perks up a little bit and just goes, oh shit? Okay, let me see.
She hands him his phone. She hands him her phone.
And these are the pictures you took of Maxine's...
Yeah. Of all the
Okay.
work Maxine had been working on her full dive thing.
He
It's not
looks
even
at
a
it.
full dive, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. he looks at it and starts flipping through it, and initially he's kind of like not sure what he's looking at, and tilts his head and just goes, "These pictures are so like blurry. You need to take like a photography class or something. This is like this whole text on the screen. I can read like a good chunk of it if I squint, but." And then he looks at Lockhart, and he pauses for a second. Says, "Thank you for getting these, wherever you got them from. Is this someone else's lab?"
Wait, what the fuck did you show him?
Nothing important.
Getty, what is it? Let me see.
No, it's mine. It's your own. He just waves you off. You get to hide the brain from me, so I get to hide these from you.
I literally showed you for like 5 minutes. Just didn't want you to drop it.
I'm not gonna drop it. But let me. Fucking. He starts scrambling and then looking for a paper and pen.
I figured the work Maxine was doing would help Johan in his work.
It's not
He's just
the worst
nodding.
idea, considering her field of expertise.
So you took pictures of what she was doing. That's probably not. Oh boy. Ah, shit.
Getty's like looking at it and kind of inspecting them. If you're worried about legality now, I've got bad news because you like blew up a highway or something.
Yeah, you guys are pretty up shit creek.
Okay.
And also accomplices to, murder. Which, like, I don't judge. I mean, I have an Eldritch Abomination in my head, but you guys are fucked.
I mean, I was more so talking about the morality of it, considering she's a friend. And also, what she found with the work, I don't really know if it mixed well with this machine.
Getty
It's really the
sits
same
up.
principle, but it's kind of going at it from a different angle.
He looks at the pictures now, not like in an analytical way, but looking at them as a picture. And then just kind of gets a squeamish look on his face and just goes, "Okay, well, I did promise. Well, not like promise in so many words, but like I said I would make an effort to be like a more communicative person." So he hands it back to Lockhart. "If you could go to this person and ask them permission for me to see their stuff, then I will use all these notes that I took." And he holds up a notebook. "But if they say no, I won't use them." And he looks at Kaya like, "See?"
Get like a genuine like smile. She like just ruffles his hair.
It's not a dog.
Even Legacy's like head kind of pops up a little bit from where she's sitting.
I mean, I've got to make it French toast anyway.
Well, thank you, Lockhart, for getting this. If it matters to this person at all, well, I mean, just rewind for a second. I could just meet them. Like, I could just go to them and explain myself. Marcus is like, no.
Yeah, there's
man.
little groan from Legacy.
See, here's the thing, Joe. I feel like putting Getty and Maxine in the same area would be like, oh fuck, we've just opened floodgates that we've opened Pandora's box, right?
Mhm.
However, I would love to see you have them talk. To see you play the.
Are you prepared to voice act that out, Joe?
Yeah, like,
Ask
No.
yourself
on one
this.
On on one hand, having the two characters in contact with each other just spells future trouble, right? On the other hand, I would love to see Joe play Bengetti and Maxine talking to each other.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to script that out beforehand and practice.
No, we're doing it right now.
I really would have fucking practiced that.
So stop telling us to do it.
Okay, you know what? I feel like torturing Joe. Lockhart will pull out her phone.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
No, not right now. Another.
But Marcus 100% is like, no. Listen, she just like scoots up close to Lockhart and he's like, I just met this woman. I don't think that this is like a stable mixture. And he like kind of does a swirling gesture between Bengetti and him.
I know
Why
you are
am I
made of
nervous?
steel, but I will take this arm that she currently has like partially undone and beat you with it.
Would you prefer them to meet in person or over the phone?
I mean, they seem
would-
pretty sane to me.
Haven't met Maxine. Also, Media. I feel like Media should probably meet Maxine at some point.
Everyone gets to meet this lady but me. And me.
Legacy just like waves these conversations aside and get you to get his attention on her for a second. And then point towards the full dive.
Looks at it and then looks. So, whatever. Like, if I use these notes, which I'd really like to, but I'm not going to without permission, mind you, looks at Kaya again, and then turns back and says, I could probably use this last little bit and get this. He hooks a thumb to the full dive. Fully functional. Like, done in like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, maybe? Just kind of shrugs.
I'd like to give that a
When-
try.
It's fully functional. Is it locked
Well, like-
to Cosmic in some way, or
No. It won't be. It shouldn't be. I mean, like, Cosmic probably just he's probably just really good at using it, though, because he's used to the sensation by now. Yeah. Yeah, see. But
I'd like
like,
to give it a try.
we could probably arrange that if you let me finish it.
Yeah.
I'll be able to connect it to the net, which would
Ooh.
be probably risky, but also very cool.
Probably have some test runs without the net first.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do test runs for everybody.
Because having the one that's been infected by the Observer use that machine is totally a smart idea.
What? It sounds like fun. And who knows, it might help me figure stuff out.
Yes. I mean, like, brain is still a brain, right? So that's all that this will do. But regardless of any of that, I would still need a little bit of time to perfect it. Right now, it's not quite. I've kind of taken a few steps back to make some things a little bit easier to manage. And now, as we're moving forward, it'll be a lot better and a lot less, well, like, he kind of gestures to Cosmic. Dangerous? Yeah.
and how have you been doing in that, Cosmic?
I've gone back in twice, and I feel fine. Cease feels fine. Totally fine. And both times, he was aware that he would be in for however long we agreed upon. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Of, like, dive time, not, like, 30 minutes to get in, because that's not enough time to get in.
Oh, I guess he nods slightly. And if this thing is perfected and we decide we need to take any drastic measures, it'll give us a leg up.
He kind of raises an eyebrow and nods like, Yes. What? Define drastic measures. Yes, please define drastic measures for me, dear.
Oh shit.
the,
I just like, oh shit, sips vodka.
the deer like actually makes Legacy flinch slightly, and just like one good arm right now behind neck. Well, theoretically, if I was in the net, there's a lot more that I could do.
Mm-hmm. If you, after all of the stuff we talked about here, like out loud, if you plug your brain, like that brain points to your head, into that machine, that's the plan.
It's not a plan right now, but it is a possible option in the future.
A drastic measure.
Looks at Marcus. I don't want to do it.
I just want to be clear. If you get to, I guess, do this risky, insane, horrifying shit, I feel like I should be there to help. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna help you with hacking or whatever, so I can't actually be there to help with this. But for things that happened like today, I could have been there to help. So, kind of does the hand like, see what I mean? And now it becomes clear this is him sort of bargaining or bartering to trade. Like, okay, can I do the risky thing if I can help? If you think you could use the help of me, I'd like to do the risky thing.
This man is so. Jesus Christ, Marcus.
Me too. I did learn how to shoot. He learned how to shoot. Like, that's worrying, but also impressive.
See, I was teaching you how to hack. I was hoping you were just going to hack Cosmic.
I can do both. It's really easy.
Oh, you should teach me how to hack too. That'd be fun.
Legacy just like facepalm.
I didn't want to hack an army earlier.
I can only hack with that, and he like points to the chair.
I didn't want to get you guys involved any deeper than you absolutely had to, because this shit gets weird really fast. And dangerous really fast.
Well, you can't just involve somebody part way. If you dip their toes into the pool, they're gonna fall into the pool. I mean, that's just life 101.
Marcus reaches down and like takes Legacy's hand and then holds it. Just goes, dude, I was in over my head when a monster exploded out of the sewer. And I was in over my head in more ways than one. Cosmic just blinks, and then Ben-Gedi just goes, ugh.
No.
What did he do?
He said he was in over his head when a monster exploded out of the sewer, and in more ways than one, he was in over his head.
He's clearly head over heels for
Remarkable.
you, so let him help.
Legacy is like blushed, heard media, tries to lift like dead arm right now, can't do it. This fucking glare. You have known us for 30 minutes. Shush.
Well, I'm not here for
Shush.
30 minutes, and I'm involved too, so you can't shush me. And she sticks her tongue out at you.
She fights. I like that she fights.
I am going to throw something at you as soon as my arm is back in function.
Why do I get the feeling that it's a Red Bull can?
And Lacey just kind of squeezes Marcus's hand slightly. I suppose we will keep you both informed of everything from this point. And you guys can volunteer as you are comfortable.
Marcus does the, looks to Cosmic and points a finger gun at him, and Cosmic points a finger gun back, but has the, placid, unmoved Cosmic face on.
Lockhart will look over to Marcus and speak to him pointedly. Well, if you're going to be more involved, that means the training wheels are coming off on your training.
I thought there weren't any training wheels on anymore.
She just smirks
No,
at
don't
that.
say anything else. Just leave it with that.
Legacy just looks over at her. If you break my boyfriend, I
Well, it
swear.
sounds like he wants to be broken, though.
I don't want to be broken. Holds a finger up, just to make that clear.
I've learned his limits, don't worry.
Oh.
That does not. No, don't ever say that again. Thank you.
Is that a sex joke?
I think that was a sex joke.
It's not a sex joke.
They're doing some training.
I think it is time for us to leave because I don't like this anymore.
Media just takes a sip of the vodka.
Now I know how media gets alcohol. That's enough for you.
I only had 2 shots.
Yeah, it's enough for you.
What?
Marcus will turn and give everyone a brief wave, and then give Cosmic a single hand finger gun again, and does the same thing back. And he will swing around and try to scoop up Legacy into a piggyback.
Aw.
And carry her out.
There's a half second of indignation and annoyance, and then realizing, I don't have to walk.
Make sure you don't test your limits.
Gross.
I'm
I
going
needed
to murder
torturing.
all of these people. That's the last thing you hear as she's exiting the room.
Alright. Probably start drinking water at some point. Kaya says as she pours herself another glass of vodka.
Not Marcus. Cosmic gets up and then grabs the 72-ounce Slurpee that is empty, and will hustle to the bathroom and start filling it with water until it is full.
Turn water. Ew.
She meant that for media to start drinking water, just oh boy.
I don't need water.
Yeah.
I mean, if part of your brain is still 70% water, because I think the proportion stays the same, even though it's 20% mechanical. The 80% that's still there is still 70% water, which I think you'd probably still need liquid. Either way, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was working on this thing. And he turns around to the full dive, I think.
I mean, for calling it a night, we might as well go through all the boxes.
Oh yeah, I should probably look for my birth certificate or whatever. I'll help.
Yeah, you got us, help you.
You can give me a call when you want a tester for your little dive machine, because I'm interested.
Probably not have you test it for a bit. You don't know how it's gonna react to the, dream of bullshit.
just waves. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure it'll be fine, not just assume it's gonna be fine.
Cosmic points to Kaya and just nods like, yeah, we should make sure and not just assume. Right, Vengetti?
Right.
Yes. Okay, fine. Fine, we'll do that.
Cool. Now, where the fuck do you keep your boxes?
I think I shoved them all in the spare room downstairs. Just like, it's apparent at this point that there is an entire extra bedroom that is just full of unopened or undealt with boxed goods.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, like storage. Don't need this room.
Where was Lockhart staying again?
Ouch.
Couch.
Yeah. Is this room like what's in the room? Is it just boxes?
Like, there's probably like 10 to 15 boxes or so of anywhere from like kind of like hand-sized, or not hand-sized, but like you could carry it with two hands, to ones that you would probably need help moving. At
So
least
anywhere
they're
from paper
big
crate to large box.
Yeah, basically. And it's just a smattering all over the place. There's no furniture. Closet's open. There's like two hangers and nothing on them.
It's like, well, alright, let's get started.
All right. I promised a friend I'd go out for a drink, so
Yes.
I'm gonna go talk to that friend.
Alright, travel safe. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Johan, do you have
Okay.
any meds? I'm gonna take a nap.
Oh, that is a question. If like Legacy sleeps, does she get to like mark off the injury that she has?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. After a break, there is a like a scene transition break. There is a point where everyone can heal some, including Lockhart.
Yeah, I'm full health again.
Yay! Kaya's still not letting you punch anything.
Good
Wait,
luck.
so I can mark it off now?
Yes, yeah, because the scene is basically wrapped up. So I will say, I have an idea. I think this is a good place to leave off, and we can start with a follow-up meeting with a new NPC who is going to be introduced that you will all love and possibly drag into this hellscape.
From what I know about her, she would demand to be involved.
Yes, she would.
Another minion for the army.
This one is our social media manager. Press
She's the one
manager.
that can help us figure out how to fucking use the recordings that we have.
Exactly. Finally.
A year later.
So, speaking of a year later, God, happy
Oh, yeah, it's been a
anniversary, roleplay anniversary, I think.
Yeah, it's
Somewhere
been
close
over
to
a
it.
year.
Basically, yeah.
Damn.
Session 1 was January 4th.
Hey, look at that. Happy roleplay versary.
Closest
The
session to a year ago was session 6. Never mind. No, it was session 3, which was January 18th, 2020, which is when we
Oh,
were up in the
shit.
club.
Up into club.
Yeah, and we were
Mental.
going to the Black Pyramid,
Mhm.
which is when we met Marcus. Actually, session.
Hey!
Yes. So, I will. I have decided that I want to implement some changes to make things a little bit less dependent on just session start and session stop. It'll lean more into a D&D direction, but making cash and prep based on in-game time so that it's less fucky. And then anything related to cash at the start of a session can just work at cash at the start of a week. But my proposed changes would be prep are just spell slots. So if you have a full day, you get your prep back, a full in-game day. And for cash, a full like week of work, assuming you can do just standard like 9 to 5 style work, you can give yourself 1 to 2 cash. It depends on your job. If you work slightly below like a standard 9 to 5 week, like if you work 3 or 4 days, you'll get 1 cash. If you work every single day, you'll get 2. And I could go down the math of it, but basically that would equate to anywhere from 5 to 10 weeks, which is about a month to 2 months, somewhere in there, to raise the burden level up by 1. So without any significant like in-character time investment, you can manage to collect enough cash to increase your, or to decrease the burden you would have. And that's sort of my like metric, because everything is based around burden being like your overall assessment of life quality. But yeah, that was one of the things that I was really working on in the background, because I wanted to make cash more available. This is also on top of me giving you guys cash for when you do story stuff.
What about abilities that grant cash?
Yeah, I would say it
Or
would go items.
Assets.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say items and assets, or assets and abilities would work by reinforcing how much cash you would get in a week. So if it was like 2 cash at the start of a session, it would be after 1 week you are guaranteed 2 cash plus whatever else you would earn working on top of it. So if
The problem is sometimes we go multiple sessions without even going a single day. So it would take forever for us to get a return on that.
Yes, that's like the offhand of that is like the prep system is you get prep at the start of every session, and over the course of the heist, it's been like I think 15 to 20 prep. Whereas it's more difficult to have like an ambiguous out of time and in-game time as a measure. And I'd rather it be more concrete and measured on in-game time, which the only way I can really see it based on like how it would work in-game, and to also narratively slow things down so that it's not constant beat after beat of chaos, is to do it this way. Like that's one of the main things is like no one has there hasn't been a chance since the heist has happened to take a break and it's like, cool, oh, we found brain, oh, we found another brain, we had a chase scene, we had a highway fight, we had a hacker like wizard battle. Like it's a lot in a day, and it seems that it kind of strains the immersion, whereas having a little bit of downtime where it's like an actual accrual of resources and then planning and then big event where you like spend all your resources can make it more satisfying. This is also given that I'm not like making cash disappear at the end of a session, like 1d6 at a time. But that is one of the big thoughts I had, I know this is a lot to drop all at once, but this is the first time since the heist, which started in November, I think.
What?
Since the heist.
The second heist, you mean?
Yes, since the second heist that I've had an opportunity to like.
I think that was December, wasn't it?